Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the care and propagation of the vanilla Planifolia. Apologies for the sweeping noise. It's actually morning here and we're in the middle of lockdown thanks to Omicron. So people are out and about, busy in their homes. So yeah, you're gonna hear some of the neighborhood sounds here. I'm actually here in my front yard because the plant in question is over here and it's climbed up the tree. I'm gonna give you a close-up later of the plant, but for now, I really wanna share with you some interesting facts about the vanilla Planifolia. The one here that I have is the variegated version, but of course they come in green. Oh my god, the sweeping noise is getting louder and louder. But anyways, the vanilla itself is the name of the genus. It is in the Orchidaceae family, so it is an orchid. And Planifolia is just one of the species in there, and it's the one that is widely used in cultivation for the vanilla beans. Technically speaking, they're not beans, they're actually pods, and they're actually the fruit of the plant. So these guys are actually endangered in their native habitat, and when you have a lot of these plants in cultivation, they're usually propagated by cuttings. So there's actually very little diversity of these plants, so they're very susceptible to disease and viral attacks. So a lot of our other plants like our banana, our potato and avocados are also endangered this way, although we don't realize it. So hopefully through understanding the cultivation of this plant, we can learn to cherish them better. So this plant actually do flower after maybe about a year or two of cultivation, and they actually only flowers for one day, and they have to be pollinated in the morning. And they actually only flower for one day, and you do have to pollinate them in the morning. If you miss the pollination, the flower will die off in the next day, and then you're gonna have to wait for the next flowering event to happen. Now in nature, about 1% of the flower actually pollinate, but most of the times they do fail. This is why in cultivation they have to be manually pollinated. Thankfully, you can pollinate within one flower because they do self-pollinate, so you just need to transfer the pollen over. So this requires people to be vigilant. They require a lot of manual labor. The fruit itself does take 5 months to harvest, so it is not an easy plant to cultivate. All right, I will have to change angles because there's a lot of things going on in the background, so I'm going to share the care right here, giving you a bird's eye view of the plant. These guys, they actually like tropical humid climate because they're native to Mexico. Give these guys a very epiphytic potting mix, like your aroid potting mix, although I did hear that sphagnum moss does work really well for them. As you can see here, they really love to be in this epiphytic growing conditions. They really took off after I moved it here. Although some people have grown them in trellis, but these guys actually are grown in trellises in cultivation because they do need a more compact area to grow into. And I guess in your indoor environments, they would probably benefit from a trellis as well, because not all of us have the luxury of having a tree to grow these up in. You do want to let them dry out completely between watering. They're very prone to overwatering. The leaves will turn yellow and they will fall off. If you feel the succulence of the leaf and the thickness of the vines, and also how thick the roots are, you'll realize that these guys do store a bit of water. They don't really require, they don't really sit well in water, that's what I mean. And these guys are actually quite thirsty for an orchid, especially if you give them a well-draining potting mix. I do water this every day. I hose it down, sometimes even twice a day. And these guys actually require quite a bit of feed. So when you do fertilize them with orchid fertilizer every 2 to 3 weeks, diluted of course, they will really benefit from it. And these guys are actually not that susceptible to bacteria, fungus, or pest attack. I haven't really had any pest issues with these, but do comment down below if you have any issues with these. And they can grow indoors if you can provide it with decent amount of lighting. These are not low light plants. I can imagine if you give it low light, they will require very little water and they will have longer internodes and pretty sad leaves as they try to reach out to light. The variegated version here, they do require a little bit more light than your green. If you do give them a lower light, they will revert to green. Look at how beautiful actually the stripes are on these. However, if you have lower than ideal light condition and you must have this plant, I recommend the green version of these. They're actually a prolific grower, very fast grower, so you make sure you leave some room for them to grow into. So here's that plant. It's been living out here for 6 months and actually took off like crazy over the 6-month period of time. Look at how fast it's climbing up the tree. It didn't grow this fast before in my old home, but this plant is about 2 years old. I guess for the first year and a half that I got it, it grew maybe about this tall. And let me show you what's happening with this. It actually lost its base. This is the base where it came from. I used to water this every day lightly. And there's a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma root here that rooted into there. So it's probably drinking some of its water, but I completely forgot about this. And I think the gardener also never watered this. So I think everything here probably dried out. I see some healthy roots here though. And then if you look at how well it's climbed up, and each of these nodes here has put out its own set of aerial roots, and these roots are actually giving it nutrients and water. So the leaves are actually nice and thick and succulent. Look at how beautiful this is. So yeah, they actually need to get their roots moist and wet. The humidity does help a bit, or if you don't live in high humidity, you may have to get the roots wet somehow, because they do take in moisture that way. So yeah, as you can see, it's climbed way up there, and we're gonna be propagating that. We're gonna liberating that from, that's the top there. We're gonna save that because I don't know if it kept climbing up, it's gonna be a little bit difficult later to take it off. Let me tuck this. Yeah, it actually comes right off quite easily. So I'm gonna be cutting this off, and I'm gonna show you that in the propagation table. So this is what I'm gonna do. This is the section where it starts to root into the tree. So I'm gonna cut below that. And then I'm gonna take this whole thing off. This is where I tied it actually when I moved into this home. So I'm gonna take the lower base here all the way down to the pot. Remember, there's not much roots down below. I'm gonna try to rescue it. I'm gonna propagate this. And I'm also gonna propagate the one up top here. So it's rooted into this here, this staghorn fern moss. I'm gonna cut it right here. And I'm gonna start taking the rest of it. I'm gonna start taking it down with me there. Yeah, I'm gonna just lightly take it off without breaking it, of course. But you know what, if I leave the top here, it will just continue growing upwards, because look at how it's taken to the tree. Look at, oh my god. Nice. Look at this. What is this plant? This is not a Hoya. This is a, what do you call it? This is a, not an invasive plant, but this is an herbal plant that's grown all over this tree. So yeah. Oh my god, I broke that branch. I'm sorry, Mr. Tree. Okay, I need to just cut this off. Cut it off. All right. I'll see you at the propagation table. All right, so here's that vanilla planifolia that we have propagated. And if you look at it, each of these nodes did give you some aerial roots. And I believe this is very much like the aroid. You can see here there's a growing eye in the middle of the screen. And look at that over there. So yeah, technically speaking, I think each node can produce a leaf. If you cut it here and here like a philodendron, you should be able to root this and put out a vine. But then I'm gonna actually take 2 leaf cuttings, because I think this is so close to the leaf that, you know, you need this to root at the same time as this growing eye need to take off. So we're gonna do 2 node cuttings, but we need to keep track of which side up it is. So this is going to be a slightly different propagation method. And I have some aroid potting mix back here that I prepared. I also have some moss. So we're gonna do both types of propagation. I may actually do water as well. Yeah, let's do some water propagation. Why not? Because, you know, I have a feeling this will take off. So the best candidate for water propagation for me is always the top cutting here. Look at how beautiful and glossy the new leaf is. And that's that bit of root here. I don't know if this is too many leaves. I have a feeling it's too many leaves for one plant. We're gonna just leave that in here, and then let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna have to propagate from top down, because otherwise you don't wanna plant this the wrong side up. This right here. Hold on to this so I don't plant it the wrong way again. I'm very prone to doing that because, I don't know, I'm a very absent-minded person. So this is 2 cutting. I'm gonna dip that quickly in activated charcoal powder. So you can see the bottom root here is gonna root. And this one I'm actually going to use moss, I guess. Let's use the moss first. And I don't really want to use a lot. I just fill it a little bit with the moss. I'm just gonna stick this cutting in, right in. That bottom leaf might get rotten because it is slightly in the moss. If you know the leaves get wet, it may rot. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I expect the top vine, top part here to vine out. I don't know if I should do single node cuttings. Maybe I should. Okay, I'm gonna keep this as it is, just to see what happens. So they look a little bit like this. So I'm gonna dip them in a bit of charcoal to prevent infection. And I'm gonna put a little bit of moss over it. All right, let's see how they do. Crossing my fingers. I have a feeling they can, actually. But when I look online, most people actually have them grown in 2 node cuttings. But that's the same measure that people do with Hoyas. Look at this one, it's got beautiful long aerial roots down below. Hoya growers do that, they do 2 node cuttings, but I tend to do 1. because I'm greedy like that, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna do aroid potting mix on this one just to show you. And then I don't want this video to be an hour long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna finish up with the rest of these, and I'm gonna show you what they look like after they are done. And I've got these single node cuttings with very little roots. So I'm gonna try to propagate them in water because I have a feeling they will do much better in water than in soil. That's the growing eye right in the middle here inside. All right, and I'm done. Let's do a head count. So there's 8 pots of these in the aroid potting mix. There are 6 pots here in the sphagnum moss, and some of them are 2-leaf. These are 2-leaf single node cuttings. And there are a lot of these water propagates. I'm not gonna count how many of them there are, but we'll give you an update to see how they're doing. This is going indoors. This is going indoors as well because I don't want this to be out in the rain. But this one, I believe this is okay if it gets rained on every day, I think. As long as the airflow is good, the sunlight is good. All right, so here's a 2.5 weeks update. Look at that, it's put out roots. It's such a fast rooter. I guess in nature they have to be pretty advantageous because they have to work pretty fast to grip onto things in order to survive. Really, really cute. But I don't see any growth point yet, so let's see what happens with these. This is 5 weeks since the last update. I just wanted to show you the worst cutting first. Something grew out of this, but it rubs right off, so I'm not sure if this is actually pest or not. It's possibly pest, but it's put out a root here, but then no vines has appeared, and a lot of the cuttings that were in here has also died. And keep in mind, this is grown in relatively low light. It's getting pretty low light. And there were a few cuttings in there, and the leaves were also blocking each other from light. So that is just to show you, the placement of propagation does matter. But let's show you some of the other ones that are doing better. Let me take this off. So this is grown in water. It's put out a new vine here. I wanted to check the roots real quick without disturbing it too much. Yeah, how cute. Look, the roots are much better. So again, this is getting very, very good artificial light. This is just regular household LED fluorescent light. This one's put out a new vine, so I'm assuming the roots must be really, really good on this. Look at how thick and chubby the roots are. This is going to suggest that they are not going to require a lot of water as a mature plant. And these guys, let me take this out. They're grouped together, but they're not getting ideal light. No roots. I don't think these are gonna make it. Actually, just move these here. Let me show you where they were before. They were somewhere around here before, and they're not getting any light. They were blocked by the other plants. So I have a feeling this is not gonna make it. I actually moved here a few days ago to give it some more light. And also, we did forget to top up with water. So because this was hidden behind other plants, it was completely dry for many days. And then here are the ones that were in under artificial light and in sphagnum moss. This one is put out a vine. Look at that, how cute is that? So they do propagate really well directly into, this is moss. This one's also doing all right. This one's starting to put out a new vine. I want to show you the roots. Oh, this didn't really take off, hang on. Yeah, this did not take off. In fact, this was the one that's put out roots here. But the one below here, maybe the aerial roots has dried off. So actually I should have cut a single cutting here and let this root and let it push out a new vine. But yeah, that did not work out so well. This one is doing okay. Let me actually show you the roots inside. Yeah, I can't even pull it out. So there must be a lot of roots there, but this is putting out a new vine. This one, let me show you. That's put out a little vine here too. You see the little, yeah, this is how you know it's rooted. It's literally flying off the air. I'm not going to disturb it. For the purpose of our videos, for our education, it'll be pretty cruel to do that. So I'm not going to do this. Is also very well rooted in here. So it's going to happen soon. And these are the ones that were grown outdoors. That's put out a vine there. Let me try to tug it to see if it's rooted all right. Yeah, it seems to be doing all right. It's a little bit slower here somehow. It's put out a new vine here and a new vine's trying to appear. Let me yank it. Yeah, this is a good sign. This one may be buried a little bit too deep. And then let me pull this. This one doesn't seem to be doing so well. Let me check it out. Something's wrong with the root there. If you see, I'm gonna bring this to the table. Let's study what happened with you. Yeah, this is not good. The roots has This is probably dryness, and it will turn to rot soon. So this is not this cutting will not take. So we're gonna, oh, and the leaves, look at the leaves. They're terrible, they're in bad shape. This is not gonna take off. I'm just gonna give up on this one. Let me see, who else did I not cover? This one. By the way, these guys get rained on almost every day. So look at how fuzzy, yeah, that's the healthy root that we want, the fuzziness. So these guys get rained on pretty much every day. They're in my aroid potting mix, which actually dries up really fast, like within a day. Let's see the last one here. This one's put out a new vine, there. Hang on, let me find a surface. This is not it, take you out. There's the new vine coming out. So I'm going to Thailand for about 3 weeks. I don't know if these guys are gonna make it when I come back, because I'm not gonna be caring for them the whole time while I was gone. Someone else will. So let's hope they do well, and I will give you a final update when I come back. Here's 7 weeks since the last update, and I just wanted to show you out here the parent plant. This is where we made the cut, and the node above is actually rooted into this tree really beautifully, and it's doing well. I'm squeezing the leaves. It's succulent and thick, so this is continuing to grow, the parent plant. So I did not lose this, which is amazing. It's grown all the way up there. So interesting. This right here. So there are many cuttings stuck in here. One has put out a vine, and this is very, very bright. It's near a light source. Let me check out the roots. Yeah, look at that. There's a lot of roots in here. These cuttings are doing really well. So give your cuttings a lot of light, group them where possible. And this one has put out nothing. Somehow it is, I don't know why these ones aren't doing so well here. But for these guys, these are doing well. And then here, these are the ones that were stuck right into moss. I got a beautiful new vine here, gorgeous. And this one has not put out anything. Let me check out the roots. This one's rooted into the next pot over. You naughty, look at that. This one hasn't rooted at all. I don't think it's gonna take off, which is fine. We're gonna give up on that. This one right into my aroid potting mix. And look at that, look at all these new leaves coming out. Something's happened up here. Maybe someone forgot to water it and it dried off for a period of time. But when that happens, look at this, the new vine will appear from the lower node when that happens. This one is rooted, but something hasn't grown out of it yet. It is quite possible that it's smothered by the, yeah, it probably planted a little bit too deep in there, and then maybe the vine could not find its way out. This is doing well, so don't plant them too deep, you guys. Maybe they do need some space. This one is doing well. They're very, very slow actually to propagate, considering their significance for our food production. Or maybe I just didn't care for it correctly. Yeah, let me check out the roots on these. This is not, it may have dried off at some point. I'm so sorry again, these guys were, I don't want to shift responsibilities. I'm not the kind of person, but I haven't been on top of my plant care. And these guys have just been thrown here and taken care of by my gardener, and he waters it whenever, I don't know. So it's been a bit neglectful, but of course in greenhouse conditions, they will probably thrive better. And if you keep your eye out for them, they will probably do better. This one's grown in water. Again, I showed a clip of this, and the friends all died off. And this one is not doing so hot. It's just getting low light. It's like under my other plants here. So it's not happy. And yeah, when you want to propagate something, give them excellent light. And also this water vessel is way too big for us. I'm gonna give up on this. I don't want to waste any more time on this one. It's just not gonna take off. All right, finally, these guys are actually grown outdoors next to some Hoyas here. Actually, I'm surprised. These guys got really strong afternoon direct light for a few months, and I pushed them back. They were out here before, so they were getting blasted by light. And as you can see, the color may have faded a little bit, but look how beautiful the stripes are. Oh my gosh. And these guys, let me see. This is rooted really well, but it hasn't given me a new vine yet. I don't know what's up with that. Let me check out below. Nope, nothing down here. But this one is put out 2 vines. See, there's one here, and then there's another one here. So I actually do recommend to take 2 node cuttings where possible. This one is really funky. This pot is super cute. It's put out a vine from the lower node, surprisingly. Sorry about the mess. It's probably rained on, but normally with plants, they would put out a vine on the topmost node. But for this one, they just do it in the lower node. And then this one tried to put out a vine, but then something happened and it died off. Yeah, This got rained on every day, by the way. This just has been torrentially raining here. Nothing's grown out of this. This one is putting out something small out of this, and this last one here is put out a vine. So the success rate has been pretty dismal, I think. For me, it's probably about 50%. It should have been higher than this if I were on top of things. But I think I'm happy with it considering how fast these guys actually grow. That's actually very, very satisfying to propagate. And I also don't know where to put these now, now that I have so many of them around. Here's another month and a half update. I'm filming using my old phone, so you may see some quality changes. But this is the mother plant, and it just continuously, it didn't throw any new vine, but it continuously grew out. You see that? That's a new leaf. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do with this because I'm leaving in about a month. I'm moving homes. So I may actually take this off and propagate single node cuttings. But I don't know, man. I'm so busy that I don't know how I'm gonna be able to care for all these cuttings. Perhaps I'll just give it to people who wanna take on this plant. And here is everybody else. So everything grew. I just wanna keep this update short, that everybody grew and grew and grew. So you can take single leaf cutting like this, or you can take 2-node cuttings. I don't think it makes that much difference. And I found this. I think this came out of its pot. I lost the pot, but look at how gorgeous it's growing. I think it actually prefers to live without any medium. It does get rained on almost every day, or I hose it down if it doesn't rain. But it looks so much happier, just kind of hanging out in the mid-air. So yeah, I guess this is how you take care of it. I hope that you've gained more confidence. That one's growing back really, really far away. So I hope that you guys have more confidence in caring for this plant. Thank you so much for watching. I'm at Thoughts on This on Instagram. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions regarding plant care and propagations. I'll try my best to get back to you. Meanwhile, do take care and stay safe. I will see you in the next one. Bye.